What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Today, we have another episode of Let's Talk Dynasty, and I wanted to do something a little bit different today. I don't know if I've seen anything like this on YouTube, but we are pulling fantasy receipts. You know, at times when you talk fantasy football 24/7, 365, you're going to get things right. You're going to get things wrong too. So we want to show you guys some of the bad takes that we've had over the course of the year so far, some of the good takes, and then give us the chance to either walk those back or double down. But I wouldn't be Let's Talk Dynasty unless I had my co-host here with me, MFGDs. So let's bring War into the building and let's show some fantasy receipts today on this episode of Let's Talk Dynasty.
Let's go.
War, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm ready. Let's get this beaten over with. Let's see what predictions and what analytics I've spoiled and butchered over the past season. Let's just peel off the Band-Aid.
Let's start with the good. Let's show people, you know, we actually know what we're talking about sometimes, but then let's bring the humility to it later and show them, you know, we also get this wrong. Because I know what people want to see is the bad takes. So we'll make them wait for it a little bit. So we'll pull this over here, War. What this first take is this is from a episode called Dynasty Darlings, where you and I, we picked a couple guys that we were infatuated with. We loved the value. We thought they were good picks this year at their current ADP. This is a take of mine. It is a good take. It is on Brandon Aiyuk. So I will play the take here and we'll let it play and then we'll talk about it afterwards. But I want to talk about wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk for the San Francisco 49ers. He's 25 years old, ADP of 71.2. That's good for wide receiver 30. So a little bit about Brandon Aiyuk, man. He's coming off of a breakout campaign in 2022. He was a top 15 fantasy wide receiver. I would argue that he is now proven that he is the most talented wide receiver on the team. Don't kill me, Debo, guys. But I think that Brandon Aiyuk is exactly who they drafted him to be when he was taken in the first round of 2020. Super elite route runner, creates separation like crazy. Man, Brandon Aiyuk is just a stud by all means. And I don't think he's hit a ceiling. Look, I said top 15 fantasy wide receiver, and I said he's being drafted as wide receiver 30. It's a hell of a value, man. I just don't think that this team is going to not get Brandon Aiyuk the ball. I firmly believe that targets are earned, receptions are earned, and Brandon Aiyuk earns it on every damn play, man. He's on the field 24/7. He's good in pass pro. He's really just earned the reps. He's one of Kyle Shanahan's guys at this point. And I remember there was a point in time where we were talking about, oh, Brandon Aiyuk is in the doghouse. But Brandon Aiyuk, he prevailed. All things worked out. And I think Brandon Aiyuk is elite as far as route running goes, and I think he's going to be a stud for fantasy football. And I don't think it really matters who plays quarterback for the 49ers, because we've seen Brandon Aiyuk be good with Brock Purdy. We've seen him be good with Jimmy Garoppolo. We've even seen him flash. I know we didn't get a ton of reps with Trey Lance, but we've seen him be good with Trey Lance. I think they're going to prioritize Brandon Aiyuk, man. I think when push comes to shove, and if they have to make a decision down the road between Brandon Aiyuk and Debo Samuel, I think they're going to leave the door open for Aiyuk. And so Brandon Aiyuk, he's a guy I'm buying, man. Still young as hell, elite by all means, and I just want him on every one of my fantasy teams.
All right, War. Pretty good, Nostradamus.
All right, man. So a couple things that I wanted to bring up. Obviously, you know, the take I think has aged fairly well. We talked about Brandon Aiyuk being valued on Keep Trade Cut as wide receiver 30, even though he had finished as wide receiver 15 the year before. Now, with hindsight, looking into the future as to where we are today, that was obviously months and months and months ago before the season started. Brandon Aiyuk is currently being valued as wide receiver 10 on Keep Trade Cut. So he has improved his ranking over on Keep Trade Cut by 20 spots since that video. If you bought in when I said that it was a good time to buy in, you probably are holding a pretty good profit at this point. But I want to hear your thoughts, War. How do you feel about that? How has that aged? And how do you feel about Brandon Aiyuk now? At this point in the time,
I've always liked Brandon Aiyuk. I didn't think he was going to be elite. I thought he was just going to be really, really, really good. Like kind of like a 10, 15 point per game type of fantasy player. Yeah, man, you nailed this prediction, man. Like, and I was there. You were pounding the drum for Aiyuk the entire time, man. And it turns out that you were as true about that as I was. And I'm going to go ahead and say this now because it's kind of of relates to each other, and it's not my good take, but it goes hand in hand with my take about Brock Purdy. So, which was that Brock Purdy was going to win the job and that he was going to be good. Didn't think Trey Lance was going to get traded, but yeah, Brandon Aiyuk is awesome. He's definitely the wide receiver one on that team, and yeah, man, you got this one, man. Gold star for you.
Yes. I mean, that's what this is, right? Like we're trying to show that there's good and bads to this, but we obviously, our goal here on Let's Talk Dynasty is to give you guys an edge, be right a little bit more often than we are wrong. Obviously, showing the wrong is really fun. It shows a little bit of humility. It's good, I think, for us to acknowledge when we're wrong. But before we get to the bad, I want to pull up your good take. So let me pull that up. So your take here, War, is from our Cincinnati Bengals team preview. This was in the preseason before the games had started. You made a prediction about the Bengals on their win total. You also made a little bit of a tougher call, I would say, at the time on Joe Burrow, but it's aged pretty well. So let's look at this take here. The same win total as Baltimore. It's 10.5 wins. Last year they won 12, finished the season on an 8-game win streak. So how do you feel about this one, War? Is 10.5 wins high or low?
I'm taking the under. And I love Joe Burrow. I love Jamar Chase. I love T. Higgins. Joe Mixon, not so much. I love the Cincinnati Bengals, but I stand on this. That kid is hurt more than the coach is letting on. Did you see what he said today? He said, hold on, I want to say it verbatim. Joe Burrow is several weeks away from the day he said he was several weeks away. So when he said he was several weeks away prior, the coach is saying that he's several weeks away from that now. So that tells me he's more hurt than what is letting on. This isn't just a simple calf strain that we're talking about. This kid is hurt. They're trying to conceal it, and until he gets a clean bill of health, I'm not saying they're going to win 11 games, because they're not going to win 11 games if Joe Burrow is hurt. As simple as that. I wish I was wrong. Despite my warnings to myself, I drafted Joe Burrow. So
yeah, I was going to say, talk your talk, man, because you said that, the 10.5 win total, you said that they were definitely going lower than that. Right now, at this point, they only have 5 wins on the season. They're in last place in the AFC North. So I would say that it looks like that is going to be an accurate prediction. And then you definitely calling the Joe Burrow is more hurt than they are letting on. It's more than a simple calf strain. And I think we saw that at the beginning of the year. Joe Burrow obviously was not playing like Joe Burrow. And then we've also, in hindsight now too, he's also had some additional injuries. And that kid is a lot more hurt than they're letting on. That's what you said. And I think that's aged well. So, talk your talk real quick, man.
Anytime you got reports leading up to the season saying that a guy is like several weeks away, that close to the season as we were at that point, there's no way that he was 100% healthy in the show. I don't want to, he was putting up Desmond Ritter like numbers until they had their, bye weeks. He started to heal up a little bit. And unfortunately, Cincinnati Bengals fans, he went ahead and hurt his thumb right after that. Unfortunately for me as well, I drafted him. And please don't come at me. I did not curse Joe Burrow, but it just kind of just how it plays out. They're not going to hit that win total. And I knew they weren't going to hit that win total because he wasn't going to start the season healthy. And it's hard enough to win that many games when your team is fully healthy. With him compromised, it just wasn't going to happen. And it's had an adverse effect. Like I said, as much as I love Jamar Chase, as much as I love T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, you're all right. You're all right. You guys are all like not that great without Joe Burrow. Jake Browning, nah.
Yeah, I mean, you and I talked about it today too. I mean, just in our text, like you asked me how I feel about T. Higgins this week, even though he's healthy. How would you consider playing him? I'm to this spot where it's like I can't even comfortably play T. Higgins. I don't know if I can comfortably play Jamar Chase as long as Jake Browning is the quarterback. It's just, it really does hurt these guys, and unfortunately, that's just the reality of fantasy football. And sometimes when you get these injuries, especially to quarterbacks, it definitely does have repercussions for everybody involved. But I think overall, as the take has aged, you hit it right on the head. The win total is going to be lower. Joe Burrow is more hurt. And I think everything in that take was pretty spot on, especially looking back in hindsight. With that being said, we got to address the bad, War, because we can talk about the good and we can sit here and, oh, look at how right we are. Yeah, we're not always right. And sometimes when we're wrong, we're really wrong, because I need you to address it, because I have to address this Etienne take here, because I was very, very wrong on Travis Etienne. I was very wrong on Tank Tank Bigsby. I was just wrong on this Jacksonville Jaguars backfield as a whole this offseason. So let's pull up that take. So the take here is, I want to say it was a bold predictions episode. I made a call about why Travis Etienne was overvalued in the fantasy football community and why I felt at the time Tank Bigsby was going to be a reason why Travis Etienne would not fulfill the expectations that he was being handed at the time. So let's just play the take. I don't need to talk about it anymore, but here it is. Some heartbreaking news for people who love Travis Etienne. Tank Bigsby is one, a lot more talented than James Robinson. Sorry, not sorry. Tank Bigsby is also two, drafted in the third freaking round of the NFL draft by this coaching staff. And then three, Doug Peterson has a history of utilizing multiple backs in his offense at all times. This goes all the way back to when we were getting pissed off as like rookie Miles Sanders owners
Jordan
and
Howard.
and we're like, why the hell is Doug Peterson not getting Miles Sanders the ball? Like, Miles Sanders is so talented. Yeah, dude, Doug Peterson does this shit. And for whatever reason, he, looked at Travis Etienne last year and said, we had James Robinson, we traded him, and then we gave Etienne all of these carries. And now I kind of want to reel those back and get my own guy to kind of buffer out this backfield. And so Etienne 5'10", 215 pounds. He's 24 years old. Bigsby 6 foot, 215 pounds, 21 years old. Like, come on, man. We got a bigger back here. He plays not as fast as Etienne, but he's quick and he's able to get through the zones. He's not like just this big bruising back. Like, he's a good running back. And this is more so not necessarily me being the biggest Tank Bigsby fan club, nor the biggest Travis Etienne like hater. But the reality of the situation is that Doug Peterson and the Jacksonville Jaguars, they are telling us straight to our face as the fantasy football community, this is a running back by committee. And if you think that Travis Etienne is going to be this bell cow, which for the record, the fantasy football community does view him as that on Keep Trade Cut, because he is being valued as running back 7 overall in Dynasty fantasy football. And I think that that is going to be a mistake. I do not think that Travis Etienne is going to finish as a top 7 back, let alone he's not going to finish as a top 10. This is a backfield by committee. We'll see what happens year 2. I just think Tank Bigsby, man, he's here to have a significant role in the offense, especially with day 2 draft capital. It hasn't aged well, right? Obviously, in the take, there are a couple things that probably need to be addressed. The first thing being that I said Travis Etienne is being valued as the running back 7 on Keep Trade Cut, and he will not finish as a top 10 or as a top 7 back, nor will he finish as a top 10. That's what I said. Well, looking at it now, Travis Etienne is running back 5, so he has only improved since that evaluation. So first and foremost, that was wrong. The second thing that I think needs to be addressed is obviously Tank Bigsby being a significant reason as to why Travis Etienne. Bigsby has not been seen this year. We haven't even seen Tank Bigsby. He's been a non-factor. So that obviously not being very right as well.
Be careful, Andrew. You don't want you saying Tank Bigsby as a non-factor to become your next bad take.
Hey, I'm just saying what it has been up to this point. We just have not seen Tank Bigsby up to this point. And then the other one being that Doug Peterson does this. Like, he does not run a bell cow running back. He runs, running back by committee. I said that. Well, he's ran Travis Etienne as a bell cow this year. Like, that's kind of what he's done. So it's the take hasn't aged well. Obviously up to this point. Do I think that you should be valuing Travis Etienne as a top 7, let alone a top 10 dynasty back? Absolutely. Absolutely up to this point. I will walk that back. That is now changed. What the hell was I thinking when I'm sitting here pumping up a 3rd round running back when they have a 1st round running back in the room? What am I talking about when I say, we have a bigger back here? They're the same damn weight. He's just 2 inches taller. The take was bad. You live and you learn. Obviously, we will learn more and we'll have better takes hopefully because of these, because you want to learn from the bad takes and be able to make better takes in the future. So overall, a bad take. War, what is your thoughts on the takes as a whole?
You know what? I'm going to make a comment and I got a couple of theories. Number one, I was right there with you saying Etienne wasn't going to be anything. So I was agreeing with you the whole time. Never been an Etienne guy. Still no Etienne detractors. I'm still an Etienne detractor, okay? I don't think he's been much since the bye week, but I digress. We'll see, because your take actually turn back and go the other direction. So who knows? I have a couple of theories though. My first theory is maybe Trevor Lawrence stepped in and was like, hey, this thing you're thinking about doing with this running back by committee thing, not with my boy. We're gonna run him. We're gonna get him his reps, okay? That's my first theory. My second theory is about your take. I think when a guy name is Tank, you immediately just consider that he's going to be a badass and going to dominate. Like, I literally think his name being Tank is why you thought he was like a significantly bigger back. The guy name is Tank.
I mean, for what it's worth, I did like his tape. I do think he was a good prospect coming out. I mean, obviously, I just was wrong. I was wrong on his involvement. I thought that they were going to involve him a lot more. They haven't. And that really is the core of the take, is I felt like he was going to be involved more. And because of that involvement, I felt like we should be devaluing Travis Etienne. Obviously, when that doesn't happen, nothing changes. In fact, Travis Etienne has done well with his carries. So, overall, the take's wrong. You walk it back. I do think at this point, it would be idiotic to say that Travis Etienne should not be valued as a top 10 dynasty running back. Like, of course, he needs to be valued as a top 10 running back at this point. 24 years old, putting up the numbers that he is right now. I can't remember where he's at in our PPR rankings. Isn't he like a top 4 back, a top 5 back right now in points scored this year?
Yeah, he's up there. He's definitely amongst the best.
So, I mean, it is what it is. He's tied to Trevor Lawrence for the foreseeable future. It's just, he's a top 10 back. I said he wasn't going to be. He is. I was wrong. So with that being said, that is kind of the bad ETN take. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. But War, I want to talk about your bad take. So I'm going to pull up the take. This is from our Green Bay Packers preview. You talk about Jordan Love. You talk about how he's not going to be a good quarterback. You talk about how the Packers are not going to be a good football team. But without really spoiling much more of the take, I'm going to pull it up and let's get our reactions to this. A half win total. How do you feel about this, War? They are coming off of a year in 2022 where they finished with 8 wins, and that was with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback.
What do I feel about them winning 7? It's not going to happen. It's not gonna happen. Mike Tannenbaum, get it through your thick skull. It's not gonna happen. This clown said that Jordan Love is going to have the best season of all NFC North quarter. Do you know how stupid you have to be to say something like that? You got to be pretty damn stupid. That's how I know that ESPN is just keeping people, because they're firing everybody, keeping people who just say whatever the hell they want to say just for shock value. Mike Tannenbaum, he was the Jets general manager. No wonder you lost your job. If you think that Jordan Love is going to be the best quarterback in the NFC North, you must be smoking and funny cigarettes. Now, you're talking about Green Bay here. You're talking about, oh yeah, we got the running backs, we got a solid defense, yada, yada, yada. I heard someone say earlier, oh yeah, they have Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. Those guys were good with Aaron Rodgers. He's gone. They're going to be the doormat for the Lions, the Bears, and the Vikings for the foreseeable future. Andrew doesn't have to show me any of their weapons. They all trash. Aaron Jones, washed. Thighzilla, trash. Christian Watson, mid. Romeo Doubs, irrelevant. Jordan Love, let's see, what's that I just sent to the group chat earlier? Jordan Love had an eye-opening day versus the Bengals defense. That's a different team. So it's not the Packers, the team who's been practicing against the entire offseason. It's a different team. He had an eye-opening day versus the Bengals defense. And a Green Bay staffer, not a Cincinnati Bengals staffer, a Green Bay staffer said, and I quote, I'm sure he's licking his wounds, feeling a little humiliated, but it's not always going to be gumballs and butterflies. And the crazy thing is, this is a daily thing, dude. This is a daily thing. This isn't just like some one-off bad off-season comment. Jordan Love is not a good quarterback. He's not. They're trying to prove that the mistake they made in the first place isn't a mistake. It is a mistake. You effed up big time, son. Jordan Love is going to be trash. Jair Alexander is picking this dude off and they're hyping him up saying, wake up, wake up. They're trash. Andrew, go on. I could do this all day. Go on.
A lot to unpack there. I'll really let you start it off with just initial reaction to your take there, War. What is your initial thoughts here?
Man, y'all caught me in prime preseason Bear Packer hating mode. I thought the Bears were gonna win 1,000 games, thought the Packers were gonna lose 1,000 games. I mean, the Packers are probably gonna, if they haven't already, the Packers probably gonna pass that win total.
They have 5 wins. They have 5 wins right now. I think, didn't it say 7.5?
Yeah. That's still up in the air. Let me tell you something. I still think Jordan Love sucks. I'm going to tell you right now.
He's going to double down?
I still think Jordan Love sucks. God damn it. I still think he sucks, okay? He doesn't suck as much as I thought he was going to suck, okay? He doesn't suck as much as I thought he was going to suck. You know what? He's all right. He's still not the best quarterback in the NFC North. Kirk Cousins got injured, and Jared Goff is still better. Dizilla is still trash. Aaron Jones, he's not washed yet. Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, still mid. The reason why the Packers are having success is because of Jaden Reed. That's why. That's why they're having success, okay? I'm going to tell you that right now. So, maybe not this year. Maybe next year, they'll be complete trash. But as of right now, Jordan Love is doing okay. Jordan Love is better than I thought he was. I can't say that I was wrong. He's not complete trash. He's not trash. He's just kind of trash. Because I'm not going to be a prisoner of the moment, okay? Yes, he beat the Lions on Thanksgiving and he looks like Aaron Rodgers, okay? So what? Let's see what he does the rest of the season, okay? So I'm not doubling down. I'm not doubling down either, okay? So let me just put that out there. So as of right now, I'm very wrong. But we'll see.
Well, since that video war, Jordan Love has finished as a quarterback 1 in fantasy football 7 times. 7 times this year. He has been top 12 at the quarterback position, which is good for quarterback 1 numbers. The other few times, it is week 2 where he finishes QB 16, week 5 where he was QB 24, both still good for top, quarterback 2 numbers. Week 8 where he was quarterback 18 and week 9 where he was quarterback 14. So Jordan Love has been great for fantasy football this year. If you drafted him where he was being drafted, you've gotten a great value. Jordan Love has been fantastic for fantasy football. We've talked about it on the show where we're like, well, we don't know how comfortable we are. If you've been playing Jordan Love, you've been getting good production. It's just the facts of the situation at this point. Biases out of it. And I will agree with your take where you say, the finishing is the best quarterback in the NFC. Kirk Cousins did get hurt. Up to that point, it did look like Kirk Cousins was having a career year. So I do understand that side of your argument where you're like, well, if Kirk Cousins was healthy, it wouldn't be a question who the best quarterback in the NFC would be this year. And that's kind of why in that take, when they said that, I shook my head because I was like, these guys are really discounting Kirk Cousins. But again, that is a bias that I hold. You have a bias as well. We try and get rid of some of those biases when we talk, but Jordan Love has been great so far for fantasy football.
And I'm speaking honestly, Jordan Love he's been good this year. Let me take out the theatrics. He's been good. He's been good this year. I just hope that he does not have a good career. I'm sorry. You Brett Favre, I'm sorry. Aaron Rodgers, I'm sorry. Like I can't do it 3 times. Like, no. That's like 60 years. Like no. And I wasn't even there the whole time. Like, no. I can't do like no 20-year career for Jordan Love. I can't do it. But he has had a really good fantasy football year. You were probably able to buy low on him and get like some great production out of him for where you picked him in the draft. Like, so I can't even sit here and cap about how good he's been in that aspect. I just hope this turns into a thing where he's a better fantasy player, that it doesn't really translate into Green Bay success, but he has been good this year. I'll give Jordan Love his credit. He's been better than Justin Fields by a mile. Justin Fields might not even hear me hype Justin Fields no more going forward, especially if the Bears trim to the Falcons. I might hype him. We'll see, but I might be a Falcons fan after that. We'll see. Who knows? No, I'm just playing. I'm never going to switch sides. Yeah, Jordan Love, I was wrong about that take. I was so wrong about that take that it was really funny looking back at it. And I mean, that's the fun of the show, right? Is looking back at how bad those takes were. And I was wrong about that. Jordan Love is doing good. Green Bay still sucks to me. Shout out to I forgot the guy's name that commented on that.
He was in the chat with us on that show, and he was really defending Jordan Love.
Yeah, I downed you pretty. Let's give him his props. He predicted that Jordan Love was going to be better than Justin Fields this year.
He did.
He predicted Jordan Love was going to be good, and you even agreed in that show that he was doing and saying too much.
Because I was just like most people thought that Justin Fields should have been a first-round pick in Superflex drafts this year, and I thought that the tools were a better fantasy quarterback. And I was like, there's no way Jordan Love is better than him.
I will say this. I still think, even though he had a stint of being like really injured, I still think by the time the season ends, Justin Fields will still fit in on the plus side in fantasy football. I mean,
yeah,
his stat, even his even his real life stats aren't that bad. It's just like a lot of the optics and stuff, the fumbling against the Vikings 2 times in a row, the missing games, the games where he was dinking and dunking. I think he'll finish on the plus side, but like you'll be a fool right now to say that Justin Fields had a better fantasy season than Jordan Love. Like even the most ardent Bears fan can't say that. It's just it's just the way it is.
Well, even up to this point, like from a fantasy points per game, which I think that's the better way to look at this one because Justin Fields has missed some time. When you look at the fantasy points per game, Fields is 1 point per game behind Jordan Love up to this point. So I do agree with you where you say, he puts together a good back half of the stretch. He could pass Jordan Love. But up to this point, that take has not aged very well. Jordan Love has been a very, very competent, very good quarterback. I would say that you saying Jordan Love is trash and Jordan Love is not a good quarterback, I'd say those are not true takes at this point.
Yeah, those definitely weren't the best takes I've ever made. That's for sure.
Fair enough. But I thought this was fun, man. I think it's, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, I think it's good to be able to go back and look at what we've got correct, look at what we've got wrong, and be able to acknowledge, where we're wrong and see where we can get better as analysts, as people who try and get on the internet and help people with their fantasy football decisions. It's always good for us to want to improve and see where we can improve these takes. So for me, a takeaway is just don't be a prisoner of the moment. Be able to kind of see a bigger picture when it comes to some of the stuff that we're looking at. For you, I'm sure it's being able to take some of that burnt orange and navy tinted lenses off at times and be able to give a little bit better non-biased analysis at times, even though it's fun and it is good for the show and it's entertaining and things like that. Like, totally understand that, but I think it's good all around. And I thought this was a very fun episode. I think we could potentially do more of these. If you guys like this video and you thought it was fun and you found it entertaining, go ahead and put in the comments that you want to see another one. We'll maybe do a part 2 in a month or so and see some more takes that we had right and some more takes that we had wrong here at the beginning of the season. I think it's definitely a fun idea, and it's not anything that I've seen on YouTube so far. There's not many fantasy football people, content creators out there that will openly take their bad takes and throw them on the internet. There's not many of them around, so I think it's fun to do.
Yeah, I agree. It takes a real tough guy to sit there and admit when they're wrong, and here we are.
Yep. All right, man. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button. It is the best free way to show our channel some support. It does help us out in the YouTube algorithm. Really is just the main way that we know that you guys are enjoying the type of content that we're creating, and we can always make sure that we're giving you the best content that you guys like. Additionally, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel and you want to see more videos like this, we do videos like this every week for our Let's Talk Dynasty podcast. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. That way you never miss any of those videos when they do come out. And then last but not least, guys, make sure you are joining our free Discord. Our Discord is going to be linked in the description. That is a community that we've built over here at the League FFB, Let's Talk Dynasty. It's a whole bunch of people in there from our community that like to talk fantasy football, help each other out with their lineup decisions. You get direct access to me to help you with those lineup decisions and waiver questions and trade questions and really anything NFL and fantasy football related. So like I said, it's free to join. Make sure you enter that. There's really no risk in doing that. And so with all of that being said, War, I don't have anything else for these guys today. Do you have anything else?
No, man. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you get a chance, please check out Crimson Mass Wrestling on YouTube. We are on a bit of a hiatus, but hopefully a hiatus will end soon. We'll be back soon. And please follow us if you're a fan of professional wrestling.
Absolutely. So with all that being said, guys, we will see you on our next video of Let's Talk Dynasty. But until then, peace out.